Uh, Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. I thought I had my hand up first, but I I really appreciate all the work that staff has done, and I think the real problem with displacement and housing affordability is the lack of housing, for all income levels and all types. And as staff has indicated, we need in the all of the above strategy. And that includes buying existing buildings,
Turn off the video,
which have been,
I think you're freezing up a little bit. If you could turn off the video. Thank you.
okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Nobody will see my midnight face. That's good. So basically, I'm saying that I'm a believer in the all above strategy, and I'm a big supporter of like buying existing properties and buildings, but I'm really concerned about the creation of more bureaucracy. And I've been the strongest advocate for marketplace solutions to help solve our housing issues, like buying instead of building. And I want to thank staff for moving in that direction. And I'm a big supporter of home ownership, and I think it's a great idea to move in that direction. It actually gives the community a stakehold in their own community. So while there are elements in the anti-displacement strategy that I don't like, I'm willing to support it with the inclusion of my recommendation for part number 3, which takes issue with the right of first refusal. And I don't know if staff can answer how many units have been, purchased under this San Francisco model. Hello?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Did staff hear the question?
I did. This is Kristen Clements from Housing. I don't know the answer for the COPA evaluation after 1 year in San Francisco. I don't know if ASIN has that information, but that'd be part of what we'd be looking at to see how many units and kind of what sizes they were.
Okay, well, so look,
I have the information, but it's only been in effect for about 1 year or so. They're still scaling up.
Yeah, I believe it's less than 10 projects. Is that right?
It's 8 projects and 32 units.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So for 32 units, we're going to create a big study and have all kinds of, new rules and new bureaucratic procedures. So I think, like I said, I'm willing to investigate it some more. But in my memo, I described it spells out a faster, cheaper, and safer approach to accomplishing the same goals of buying. It's faster because we don't have to invent a new procedure, new processes to monitor and enforce the market. It won't waste our time. If we simply engage with nonprofits that have experience in managing housing and get them pre-qualified to make purchases, we can get this plan working very fast. Now, I mean, everybody knows that you have to be pre-qualified these days to even bid on houses. And so it's important to have our act together and not just expect the market to conform to government. We need to make sure that we can execute on escrow as fast as we can, and to let the nonprofits who want to get into these programs become pre-qualified should be mandatory. And if we use real estate industry professionals who have the tools and have built relationships with sellers, we can get the right properties and the best deals, because they'll be working for us. Every transaction I've ever had on houses, I've always hired a realtor. Why? Because they work for me. They want to ensure that I get the best price for my dollar. And quite frankly, if we're not looking at these professionals, we're going in the wrong direction. A lot of them, as staff mentioned, actually do these deals that are kind of behind the scenes because they call on their own database of people to motivate them to sell. So Obviously, it could be much faster to deal with industry professionals. It's cheaper as well because we actually don't have to hire them as permanent employees. We hire them as brokers, and we could even negotiate their commissions. So the right of first refusal ordinance just signals, to me, it just signals that the government wants to be involved, and when we say that, the sellers they'll assume that government has deep pockets, and they'll raise the price in order to, so I don't know if we're ever going to get a good deal out of this. In fact, if we use a real estate professional, we could be more anonymous in the marketplace so that we have the best chance of getting the best value for the tax dollars that we're spending. And so I think it's not only just faster, and it could end up saving lots of money, and it will make people less greedy when they're doing business anonymously in many cases. And it's also safer because the city could expose itself to lawsuits from, impairing a seller's ability to place their units on the market in a timely fashion. Now, in an up economy, it doesn't really matter. If you delay the sale, the price moves up, and, the seller is going to get, better value by going through a more bureaucratic process. But in a down market, every day counts. And if the deal falls apart, we could be on the hook, and the seller could actually sue us. And so that for all those reasons, I'd like to move my memo, which implements, staff's memo. And I'd actually like to also include the mayor's memo with the council members. I especially like 2A and 2B, and like I said, I'm willing to explore the process, but I think we should go down this faster route because like I said, we can get it done faster, cheaper, and much more safely without the threat of litigation. And finally, I'm also willing to accept Councilmember Peralez's and Esparza's memo as part of my motion. So my motion would be to include my memo, the mayor's memo, and the memo from Esparza and Peralez.